G'day, this is Jim from Living Life Now. Today I'm going to be talking about the cruise destination port of Cobh. Now Cobh is the gateway to Cork, the Blarney Castle, and a lot of fun. Now we were in Cobh about 3 or 4 days ago. I've lost track, and at the moment we're on our way to Dover after just leaving Liverpool. But the fond memories of Cobh keep bouncing in my head. Now I've got so many amazing things to say about Cobh, from its colourful houses and equally colourful personalities and the people and the Guinness. But if you're going to this place, make sure you got your party pants on and a smile in your pocket and ready to have a chat. So through this video I'll break down how we spent the day in Cobh. And to give you an outline of that, we basically got off the ship in the morning. It was overcast. We got the train to Cork, and then we got a taxi to Blarney Castle, and then came back the other way and spent a bit of time walking around Cork before getting back to Cobh in the early afternoon. Now we're glad we did. We had a kind of a late lunch in Cobh, and we put on the party pants and we got into a few Guinnesses and a bit of a diddly dit and had a gypsy good time. But I'll lay that out and it'll all come very apparent through this video. Even sailing into Cobh on a misty morning is a magical experience. It's like slipping into the pages of a storybook. The ship glides through the calm waters and the mist just hangs around. There's a stillness in the air and the colours just seem to just slowly blur through the mist and the watercolour blur into the water. It's quite magical. The Georgian terraces hug the hillside and rows of colourful houses seem to tumble towards the water's edge. As the ship eases alongside, the sun begins to poke through and turning that mist into kind of a silver lighting. Very nice sailing. Everyone was keen to get ashore, and as usual, the tour buses and the photographers were waiting for us on the port.
Hello. Good morning.
We teamed up with Nick and Bev for the day, and we're playing it by ear, and as we passed the last tour bus, the entrance to the train station was right there, and we noticed the next train was leaving in less than 5 minutes. I enjoyed my first laugh for the day with a tour sign upside down to welcome the visitors from down under. Locals were near the ticket machines to help you use the ticket machine, which made it very easy, and we quickly got our tickets and ran for the train. Now the train from Cobh to Cork City is an excellent option, especially if you're going on to Blarney Castle. It takes about 24 minutes and goes through some nice scenery along the way. It stops at 6 stations before arriving at Kent Station, which is Cork City. Now once at Cork City, taxis are available to take you further into the centre of town or on to Blarney Castle and the gardens. Plenty of cabs were available at the train station, and we met Andy, our friendly cab driver. Now a cab trip to Blarney from Cork is about 9 kilometres and takes about 25 minutes and sets you back between £40 and £45. But it's by far the most convenient and best way to get to Blarney Castle. Buses are available, but you'll need to allow about an hour, and they run every 30 minutes and will set you back about £3. But when you're in a port like this with so much to do and you spend £1 to get there, you may as well make the most of your time and go the most convenient way. Now we paid our well worth it entrance fee into Blarney Castle and the gardens of £23 and started to take in the lush grounds, spotting the castle in the distance. Blarney Castle rises dramatically from the lush Irish countryside. It's beautiful in the distance, and it's built nearly 600 years ago. It's got like a rugged stone fortress, and it's surrounded by beautiful landscape gardens, and it's got all these little hidden corners and these statues, and it's steeped in folklore. And if you've got a little bit of Irish heritage like myself, you kind of feel at home. We continued our way to the castle, hearing the bagpipes getting closer in the distance. The only way to get him to shut up was to get a picture with him. Only joking. So at the top of the castle lies the Blarney Stone, built into the outer wall, and legend has it if you kiss it, you gain the gift of the gab. You've got to lie on your back and lean backwards over a sheer drop. But there's railings and they're attendant there. And you plant a kiss on the stone, and then voila, you're blessed with persuasive charm and smooth talking. Now, I know a few Irishmen with the gift of the gab, so I decided not to join that crew. I gauged the line from the sign and said 60 minutes from that point, and I figured it would be about a 45-minute wait, and decided to give it a miss. But many didn't. Many made their way up the narrow staircase to take part in the wacky tradition of kissing the stone. We decided to make use of our time by wandering the over 60 hectares of beautifully landscaped grounds. We took in the castle wall and its wonderful views, that is built primarily of limestone and built to withstand siege and attack during turbulent medieval times. A wonderful place to visit within the Blarney Castle gardens is the Seven Sisters stones. The story behind the stones is rooted in Celtic mythology, though specific details are often left open to interpretation. But mainly it's to do with family, balance, loss and memory. The stones are arranged in a circle and seven sisters of Irish legend. Two smaller stones nearby are fallen stones, which represent two slain brothers. The symbology of this simple display was quite heartwarming and moving, a tragic contrast to the standing sisters. There are many notable monuments and features within the garden, and every visitor will take something away that somebody else hasn't seen. There's the witch's stone and the witch's kitchen and the fairy glade and many more that we missed in our short visit, and you can truly spend a day in this garden. I did spot the poison garden with its cannabis plant and its opium poppy and its foxglove that can cause heart failure, as well as hemlock famously used to execute Socrates, but couldn't find any mushrooms. The old stables had been refurbished and repurposed, but it still remains the original stone walls and stable doors, preserving that charming rustic feel. But now you have a gift shop in there featuring Irish crafts. You have a cafe and tea rooms, as well as rest area and toilets. A couple of 100 metres outside Blarney Castle grounds is the Blarney Wool Mill, the largest Irish shop in the world. Once the ladies purchased some trinkets, we had a agreed time to meet our friendly cab driver Andy, who was happy to come back and pick us up because he liked the tip first time around. On the way back, he took us the back roads and showed us a bit of the countryside, as well as the European headquarters for Apple. He dropped us in an area where we could have a nice walk downhill through an old suburb into the city. Now, Cork was nice, but as we walked into a city's a city, and it certainly had that city feel about it. So we decided not to spend too much time there and got a cab to the railway station to get the train back to Cobh. Again, we didn't have to wait too long before the train come along for the short 24-minute journey back to Cobh. Once back at Cobh, we noticed the Cobh railway station houses the Cobh Heritage Centre. So we stuck our head in and out of that before taking the 3-minute walk into the village before finding somewhere to have a late lunch. Not surprising, many had the same idea and a lot of the establishments were already full. But we ended up finding a nice little place on the edge of the village that served up a pretty good meal to refuel us for the rest of the day. After lunch, we decided just to wander the streets of Cobh. We did a little bit of shopping, or actually a lot of shopping, and because of the welcoming people, we probably spend more in Cobh than any other port we've been to so far. But you get what you pay for, and we had a great time. Before stumbling across a sign to the Titanic Memorial Garden. If you take into consideration the distance we'd already walked, the Titanic Memorial Garden is probably a 15 to 20 minute walk from the village centre. The Memorial Garden is very simplistic, although it provides a place of reflection, and you can't help but imagine the Titanic heading out through those heads for the very last time. And it captured some very sad stories about the passengers on board. We spoke to people on the ship who'd visited the Titanic Museum, and they were very happy with their experience there. So you may wish to consider that if you have an interest in the Titanic. On the walk back, we decided to take the high road up to the cathedral. The cathedral dominates the Cobh skyline and is relatively young, being completed in 1919 after over 50 years of construction. But we got a bit of a view out the back of the House of Cards, but we didn't get a view out of the front of the House of Cards, which if we had the energy, would have probably been worth a walk up to the front of the House of Cards to get those lovely Instagram-worthy pictures. But we decided to take a stroll back into the village centre. The locals really put it on for our boat, and they welcomed the Australians with open arms. They had the flags out, they had signs in the shops, they had the bands playing and the drinks flowing. The Crown Princess was in there on a Friday, and we were fortunate enough to have a late sail out and all back on board by 10:30, and some of them just made it. Now, a word of warning, splitting the G gives you a splitting headache. But don't worry about that too much, it's not till 12 hours later. I lost count of how many Guinnesses I had. The next 3 minutes of footage is some shenanigans between the Irish, Australian and the Kiwis, and feel free to fast forward if you're easily insulted.
Here's some lovely Irish people having a crack, and we'll see them in Brisbane. Hey!
May the cause be near forgotten, said the gouty mountain by.
Cheers. Anthony, splitting the G. Is it possible?
He's going to split the B. That says young Jim trying for his 10th attempt. Can he do it? We've got a crooked table, so we've got to go beyond. I think he's gone.
I'm sure it was no wonder, for sure was her father and mother before. As they wheeled the wheelbarrows through the streets broad and narrow, playing cockers and mussels.
One more.
Sail out was amazing. People were on the decks, waving, and there was music played, and everyone was in good spirits. If you ever get a chance to go to Cobh, I highly recommend it. And with a bit of Irish luck, hopefully one day I'll be back there. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, give it the thumbs up, and yeah, we'll catch you next time. Hooroo!